Tonight, Jeremy from AnEarful Blog joins us to talk about musical hot takes. When someone slams an artist or record on Twitter, tell us if you agree or disagree. With your host, Dennis Ball. What is up, ballers? The chat is blazing. I was scared for a minute nobody was going to show up. Well, let's do a sound check. How's it sound? Good. Tell me if it sounds good, and also tell me where you're balling in from. We got Jordan Constitution Media in the house, and now Captain Love Handles, man. Yes, it's so great to see you live. I always catch you on the rebound, but it's nice to see you balling in person. Paper Bagman initiating the chat on screen display. GCM and Captain ballers, he says. Yes, Paper Bagman. All right, all-star ballers. Yes, absolutely. And tonight, ballers, I don't know why we don't have beautiful music playing, but tonight we have the great Jeremy from AnEarful Blog.
Hey, Dennis. How are you
tonight? And what are we talking about tonight, my man?
We're talking about musical hot takes, mostly on Twitter. People saying stuff that maybe they're just saying to get a reaction, but either way, they got a reaction.
They got a reaction. Oh, I need to come up in volume? Okay, here. I was blowing it out before. I just moved my mic closer, so tell me if that worked better. All right, let's go to do you want to just start with, which one do you want to start with, Jeremy? This is your baby.
Let's start with Mr. Albini.
Albini, okay.
Stevie Albini. Now, obviously, the man is a great producer. He has done many landmark albums. There's no question that he's contributed to music.
Absolutely. He was in Black Flag.
He produced Nirvana In Utero. Let's not forget that. But he tweeted out of nowhere for no good reason in February. He said, "I'll always be the kind of punk that shits on Steely Dan." And that was only the beginning.
So brave. So brave.
So brave, yeah.
Is that better, Paper Bag Man? Thank you for thank you guys for the feedback. I just turned myself up. Yeah, when I saw this, Jeremy, I was astonished because it kind of reminded me of being in high school. And I was like, this guy's like a professional producer. He doesn't have the scope to imagine that there's more than one sort of music that's worthwhile.
He seems to be very reductive. I mean, that's part of his production style. But I actually thought he came off as kind of provincial, right, because he also focused entirely on, the fact that it took a lot of effort and some of the music is very light and smooth.
Yeah. While
completely ignoring the lyrics.
Yeah.
Which is at least 50% of Steely Dan's appeal. Is these dark, noirish, observational, poetic lyrics.
Yet totally seated in the world of their experience of, parties in California in the 70s and Bard College.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, what drew me in when I was 7 or 8 or whenever Ricky came out, 1973. So I would have been 9 years old or so.
Ricky, don't lose that number.
Yeah, that song grabbed me. It has that dark sonority, and the lyrics are ambiguous. And yes, they worked very hard, and they got the perfect guitar solo in that song. The song and the guitar solo fit each other so perfectly that it's a thrill to listen to every time. But it's not really about the effort; it's about the result. And that song grabbed me. I had no idea how it was made. And ever since then, I was a big Steely Dan fan. Except, now this is where what he said resonated with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Was when I first heard Deacon Blues in 1977.
Yep.
And that's actually an Asia era picture of them you have. I was deep into the punk scene at that time and really getting into things like Talking Heads, Ramones, Sex Pistols, The Clash. And I heard Deacon Blues and I was like, what is this garbage? What does it mean to say learns to work the saxophone it was a level of nerdiness that I couldn't quite relate to. And my good friend Mike D, who later was in the Beastie Boys, we talked about music all the time, and we were both like, what has happened to Steely Dan? They've really fallen off, because he was a fan of their earlier stuff. But then the next year, they put out Josie as a single in 78. And when I heard that on the radio, it clicked. And I remember I went and I bought the album, brought it over to Mike's house, and we got totally into it. We were still into the punk stuff and new wave and post-punk and everything that was happening. But Asia was big for us.
That album is sick, and it's so, Josie is so funky.
Yeah,
you know?
We're going to pull out the hats and hooters when Josie comes home. It's dark.
Yeah, it's dark. And also...
Danced on the Bones until the girls say when. I mean, even Kurt Cobain didn't come up with that.
Isn't that talking about playing piano?
What's that?
Dancing on the Bones sounds like playing piano keys.
It's open to,
but it's evocative. It's evocative and
exactly.
also, and death themed. You know what? I'll mention one more song since we're talking about Steely Dan dark songs, which is "Do It Again."
Oh yeah,
which evokes this crushing wheel of repetition that is destroying the subject of the song.
Yeah.
And it is dark, and also it's heavy. And you know, I don't know. The thing about this, before we go on to the next one, Jeremy, I'll let you give a final thought on this too. And ballers, please tell us if you agree with these people's hot takes or not. By the way, Paper Bag Man, thank you for greeting Bryson. What's up, Bryson? And SOH, thank you for joining us. And Corey Simons, my goodness, we have the whole baller gang here. Last week was a little light, so I'm so glad to see so many friends here tonight, because we're actually going to be on vacation next week. I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to try and do some videos there, though. I'm going to the Grand Ole Opry and Third Man Records and stuff. All right, if they let me film. So in any case, the thing that, Jeremy, really struck me about this was just how much of a douchebag it made Steve Albini look like. I mean, I'm not trying to really just be, insulting, but it made it made him seem like a bitter, kind of not smart guy who was trying to look cool.
Yeah.
And didn't, and just came across. It's sort of like the guy who I met at the Bauhaus concert a couple years ago, and we were chatting and talking, and we're both like in our 50s or 40s, and I'm like, what other shows are you going to? And he's like, oh, I'm going to see like, I don't know, Minor Threat or something. And I was like, he's like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to see Fleetwood Mac. This was a few years ago, And he was like disgusted. And I was just kind of like, what? Like, how old are we? You can't imagine that somebody would like Fleetwood Mac and it's okay. And you don't have to react negatively to somebody else having a different music. Like, what the? How old are we?
It's very high school.
It's weird. And yeah, Steve Albini, I mean, it just made me think also that he just must be kind of a crap producer who he's a one-trick pony.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of his thing. You plug in and you play, and you get his sound, and he's made a good career of it.
We're missing Yo-Ya, everyone's pointing out. You're right. We are missing Yo-Ya. That's kind of sad. Yo-Ya, what the heck, man? Anyway, I'm just kidding, Yo-Ya. Anyway, let's go on to the second one. Speaking of Fleetwood Mac.
Yes. So this was Japanese Breakfast, who is a fine singer-songwriter, made some very good albums. Not my favorite stuff, but I definitely respect her. She also wrote a book called Crying in the H Mart. Michelle Zauner is her real name.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a very highly regarded book that I want to read.
Yeah, I've heard about that book, and I've heard very great things about it.
So she's obviously smart. She knows the meaning of words.
Right.
And
yes.
So she said Revolver is the Tusk of Beatles albums, referring to the Fleetwood Mac, their follow-up to Rumors. Anyone who claims it's their best is an unfeeling snob that's fucking kidding themselves. Okay. And then she goes on to say, I'm not saying either of these albums are bad. I'm saying that if they're your favorites, you're a contrarian and wrong. Now, let's unpack this a little bit, shall we? Because when you think about Tusk, so Tusk was the follow-up to Rumors, and that was the one where they had even more time and money to spend than they did on Rumors. And Lindsey Buckingham went totally nuts and made a kind of crazy album that ended up having no hits. It had no hits on it, as I recall.
Yeah, Tusk I did have the closest thing to a hit, and it's not really.
I had a friend who thought it was great and liked it better than Rumors. Maybe he would that would be that is a contrarian take to say that Tusk is the best Fleetwood Mac album. If you said that would be fairly contrarian because most people seem to think it's Rumors.
You know, Mrs. Ball has said it in the past, but in her defense, she's obsessed with Fleetwood Mac, and she has every one of the albums on vinyl, and we listen to them like sort of in a rotation almost, and so her opinion changes over time, so she has a right to, at a certain point, when you're hardcore about a band, Jeremy.
Yeah. I mean,
you have your times when you think.
I mean, full disclosure, I'm speaking as someone who really doesn't like Fleetwood Mac at all.
Right, of course.
I heard them on the radio throughout my childhood. I never need to hear any of those songs again. Thank you very much. But I do know the difference between Tusk and Rumors as far as the general consensus about.
Yeah, you do.
But when you compare Tusk to Revolver, yes, Revolver was an explosion of experimentalism and creativity in the studio, which Tusk was as well. Tusk obviously came about a decade after Revolver, so she also has it a little reversed. But Revolver is, I would say, widely considered to be, if not the best Beatles album, then a top 3.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Most people seem to agree on that. So to say that Revolver is your favorite Beatles album, which I have said, is not being a contrarian. Being a contrarian would be to say Beatles for Sale is my favorite Beatles album, or Magical Mystery Tour. Albums that are maybe a little bit lower down in the general ranking.
I actually have at times said Magical Mystery Tour because I also consider it to be the American version, which includes all those singles from the time.
Yeah.
You know, so I love it. So as that package, fantastic. It's solid. You know, but yes, I know what you mean. It's like, and then I started thinking to myself, I started going through those thoughts, Jeremy. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, who is this person? And what is her criteria for which Beatles album I am allowed to say is my favorite one? Like, what is even going on in this?
Right. Well, her credibility is based on her music, and her intellectual ability as a writer.
Okay, which I don't know anything about yet. So
did make me think that was kind of funny that she seems to be misusing the word contrarian. You can't be a contrarian if you're towing the party line.
Right.
It just makes no sense. Tusk and Revolver are not looked at the same way in the discographies of those two bands. There's just not.
I just couldn't tell what she meant. I didn't know what she was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, is she saying it's not the best one? And you're wrong for saying that? And I got a vague, I just didn't think she really knew what contrarian mean. Because I was like, contrarian, yeah, it was not.
Well, that's.
I didn't know what she was talking about there.
It was an odd use of that word. I'm just looking through the thread here.
I mean, maybe she thinks that everybody just says that Sgt. Pepper's is the best Beatles album or Abbey Road is, and that's that.
I mean, those are not contrarian takes either, though. Because
no, but I'm just saying, like, maybe she's thinking if you say anything but Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper's, then you're being contrarian because those are clearly the very best records that the Beatles ever made. And I frankly disagree. I think that they have a lot of excellent records, and I listen to a different one depending on what my mood is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been an Abbey Road is my favorite. I've been a Revolver is my favorite. Sometimes Rubber Soul is my favorite.
Yeah, Rubber Soul. Yeah, and
I love the White Album. I just listened to the White Album in mono the other day. It was always such a great experience.
Man, I need to get
Wild
that
ride.
set. I need to get that set with the alternate takes in the mono. Which mono was it? Did you get the mono like
The Mono Master from 2014?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wish I bought all of those because now they're ridiculously expensive.
So expensive.
I got it on eBay. There was a weird sale on eBay, and then I had a coupon. I think I got it for under $30.
Paper Bag Man says that Revolver's their favorite Beatles album. Right
on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have 3 copies of Revolver.
It's great. Yeah, I do too, actually. I have the Capitol version from like 1969. It's beat up, but it's like old.
Mine's from 76.
And then I have the new box set, which is absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And then I have the Giles.
You get the mono vinyl in the box set, right?
Yeah, you get the mono vinyl.
Yeah, see,
you get the stereo vinyl, and you get a bunch of assorted extra
sneak
stuff.
peek in my final best of 22 when I talk about Revolver as one of the best reissues of the year. It's actually a bargain at $150 because you get the mono, which would cost you about $150 alone.
At least.
And then you get all the extra stuff.
Yeah. And the 7-inch, which has a couple of mono tracks on it.
Yeah, exactly. If I didn't already have the mono, I'd be drooling over that thing.
And the thing about the mono ballers, it sounds weird because like when I grew up thinking stereo is better because you're getting like a better like texture of sound or you're more in the room. But the Beatles records, like the Beatles mixed them, as some of you probably already know this, but they mixed them in like they were involved in the mono mixes, right, Jeremy? Like those were the definitive mixes that they
took more time with them. Yeah.
And then the stereo stuff was just like the second string engineers overnight would do like a rough stereo mix.
Yeah.
Sometimes using the mono mix, sometimes just roughly doing it or whatever. And they did all those hard pans and weird stereo mixing tricks that it just didn't age that well, like you end up listening to Eleanor Rigby in your car and it's like Paul is next to your left leg and like the cello is like over on the right door next to your kid's backpack.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, in any case, that's why the mono is so appealing to people. Let's move on because we're taking a lot of time on this.
So Japanese Breakfast, I'm sorry, she's a contrarian and she is wrong in this case.
I thought it was just I actually tweeted back to her, which I don't usually
I saw that here.
I wrote weird gatekeep.
Let me give it a like.
I edited it a couple of times and then I wrote weird gatekeep.
It came so late that nobody's seeing it.
It does. That's all right. It doesn't matter.
That's fine. I gave you a like though. So then we come to Mr. Lachlan Marquet. Lachlan Marquet, the tragedy of the White Stripes is how great they would have been with a half-decent drummer. Yeah, I've heard all but it's a carefully crafted sound, man. Takes. I'm sorry, MEG WHITE was terrible, and no band is better for having shitty percussion. And I can't even figure out who this guy is. Okay, he's written for Axios, The Daily Beast, Free Beacon, and Heritage. He is also apparently from New Jersey because he's a New Jersey Devils fan. Take of that what you will.
Spoken like a true New Yorker.
Exactly. Stay on your side of the bridge.
Yeah, they're like the freaking Sopranos down there. Coming up here to meet with Johnny Sack.
So the blowback, though, in this case, the blowback was so hard that he had to delete tweets, and now all his tweets are protected, and only approved followers can see them, so that he can deliver his bad takes to an echo chamber, I guess. Now, he does actually say that he's a bad music take haver in his bio. It was very nice that Jack White came to her defense with a poem.
Yes.
Which I'm not going to read because it's rather long. But
you can find it easily, and it's nice.
It's on Pitchfork. And Questlove, as you can see here, that's Questlove. And he says, I try to leave troll views alone, but this right here is out of line AF. Actually, what is wrong with music is people choking the life out of music like an Instagram filter, trying to reach a high of music perfection that doesn't even serve the song or music. Does that mean that Questlove is not a Steely Dan fan? But getting back to Meg White, I find there's a couple things going on there. Number one, she is a woman in rock and roll, and that means that when people have these hot takes, it looks worse. Yes. It just looks worse. And the other thing about it is I think there's a weird tradition of hating drummers, which goes back to Ringo. When I was in high school, we all joked about Ringo. Ringo was funny. Ringo was a terrible drummer. That solo on Abbey Road was laughable. And then at a certain point, my mind totally changed. And I think maybe it was when I was listening to Rain. And I just thought, and actually listening to Rubber Soul really carefully and understanding what was going on, because on Rubber Soul, it's all drum patterns. And they're all played with this perfect crispness. So Ringo's a terrific drummer.
He's an amazing
drummer. One of the best drummers of all time. And one of the most human drummers. He pushes and he pulls and he moves the music in a very human fashion. Mm-hmm. Then you get also people have been complaining about Nick Mason of Pink Floyd for years. Oh, I wish they had a better drummer. What would you like to be better about him? He played with a certain kind of precision, a very dry tone, and of course those fabulous rototoms on Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. And I think he's a fine drummer live. He never seemed to miss a beat. I've listened to a lot of bootlegs. Sometimes Waters and Gilmour, their harmonies would be way off. And vocally, they could be a little weak in concert, but he never faltered. And then you also get people complaining about Lars Ulrich, saying that he can't keep time and all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how many more millions and millions of albums could Metallica have sold if they had a different drummer? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't jibe. Right. And these are oftentimes, these are also fans. You're a fan of Metallica, and yet you're saying, Lars is the heart of the band. And if you watch him drum, I've never seen them live, but I've watched video and concerts and stuff like that. And he is just so into it. You know, at the end of every song, he stands up from his kit and he's just like, what just happened? You know? And I just think, you know, after 30 years, he's still that into it. And I was just listening to the new Metallica song today, and his drumming sounded great. I don't understand what they expect. And I wonder if it was sort of like Neil Peart corrupted everybody's brains because he had, 800 pieces of percussion instruments around him, and he played every 30-second note. That's not appropriate for most music. Yes, that was appropriate for Rush. I don't like Rush either, but anyway, no band can make it that big without a good drummer. And that even goes for the White Stripes. They were playing stadiums. They sold millions of records.
Yes,
and that,
absolutely.
If they had
you don't do that.
Not good. And she is also firmly in the Mo Tucker tradition. And I'm not just saying that because Mo is also a woman drummer, but it's just a certain kind of hypnotic throb that doesn't use a lot of the traditional elements of rock and roll drumming. And that's one of the things that made the White Stripes so interesting, because if they'd had a conventional drummer, they really would have come off as a bad blues band, I hate to say it. And they needed something like that. Jack needed something like that to work off of and to give him the space to be crazier.
Like rock, I mean, I think of her drum beats as like a series of massive boulders that he's like jumping from one to another with his guitar wailing. Like, it's a very, and I don't know if you saw the CBGB video, but we were talking about the Ramones there, and one of the things I learned when I was researching that was that Joey Ramone started as a drummer, and apparently he played like Meg White. Like, he played like that. These brutal, big
apparently
beats.
He wasn't that great.
But he had that sort of that similar approach.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. We could keep talking, but we're at 25 minutes of amazing.
Yeah, we could talk about this all night.
I have a bunch of thoughts about drummers and things like that I'm really trying.
I think people just
talking about.
people like that, people who make those comments about all those drummers, and this will be my final thought. Yes. I think maybe, and you don't have to play music to like music or understand music, but having played in bands, I understand what a drummer can do and can't do for you. And I just think most people do not understand what's going on at all.
Paper Bag Man says she's a 6 solid drummer. I agree. I like her drumming style. I mean, woo. And maybe it's Nito. What's up? Maybe it's Nito. Have you listened to modern rap? Time and rhythm are meaningless in 2023. Well, some rap. There's some good stuff.
That's somebody bringing a hot take. I like it.
Exactly. I like Rush too, Georgia Constitution Media. I like Rush a lot, actually.
You know, it is kind of funny though how. Just think about that for a second. When I hear a rap or hip hop song that's danceable, it sometimes comes as a little surprise, because being danceable or funky is not always a big part of hip hop anymore. It used to be more a part of it, and I have zero problem with that. But it's funny when it surprises you, you know, and you're like, oh my god, I could actually dance to this. SOH's
music hot take is that King of Limbs is the best Radiohead album.
Whoa!
That's a good one.
Now that is contrarian. It is better than Pablo Honey, I'll say that much for it. But
right.
And it's also one of those records, I have it in a very nice set, and if you listen to just one side, it can be very impressive and moving. But then if you listen to the whole thing in a row, it gets a little deadening. I think they were very into the jam out in the studio, then cut and paste everything together.
Right.
Similar to the Atoms for Peace album. But the Atoms for Peace album was funkier because it had a different percussionist and a whole lot of different stuff going on there. But but it's a fair opinion. It's
exactly. It's cool. I like that people are bringing some. I like that people are bringing some hot takes, and I'm also like that Yo-Ya 420 showed up. Good day, Yo-Ya. Thanks for coming out, Yo-Ya. The gang is all here, Captain Love Handles, which I guess that means it's time for us to go to Chuckleballs. Ballers, you can park behind Chuckleballs. There's always parking for the ballers because parking can be hard to find in Ball City. And check out our new theme song from Kid Mental. From Chuckleballs. That's pretty cool, huh?
Rock on.
Yeah, okay. I think our chat's going to pop up here in a second. All right, ballers. I got extra jokes tonight, actually, so I'm going to get right into them. But first, everybody, Super Ball, let everybody in. Super Ball is the bouncer, as you know, Jeremy.
I do, that bouncy ball, the man.
Exactly, and we purchased a round of drinks for everyone, so your drink is either in front of you or in the nearest refrigerator. Grab it and take a seat up front here so you can tell me whether or not these are... You are dumb! That's great! I'm drinking Throat Coat. I have some jokes ready to go, ballers, so you tell me if it's a laugh or a no laugh. Duck is here, too. Duck, what's up? Duck. All right, Duck. This one goes out to Paper Bag Man. Paper Bag Man, you know the movie Faster Pussycat, Kill? Slower Pussycat, Chill would have been a much different movie. It would have been cute, and you could, like, pet the cat. That's pretty good, right? My friend Dallas.
I don't know if Russ Meyer would have laughed at that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm giving it a laugh, though. I think you laughed, too. All right, this one goes out to you, Jeremy. I met a kleptomaniac friar jazz musician. Felonious Monk was his name. He was a kleptomaniac monk jazz musician. I had to deliver it quickly so that you wouldn't figure it out before I delivered the punch. Because I know you're quick, George the Constitution Media. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so you guys are saying I should do I got one no from no. One person was contrarian. Speaking of contrarians, and they said I should not post videos from Nashville next week when I go to the Music City. You guys don't want to see clips of Meat World Dennis Ball going to the Johnny Cash Museum? I think that would be entertaining.
I thought your Allman Brothers thing was really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, that yes. We'll see if they let me film in the places, but I'll try and do something like that if I can at the Allman Brothers.
There's that record store there on Broadway.
Third Man?
Ernest Tubbs record store, I think it is.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, and they have a country music museum in the back, which includes that pedal steel guitar that was used on Lay Lady Lay. What's his name? Charlie McCoy, I think, played it.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. I'm going to that Ernest Tubbs record shop. I'm staying on Broadway. I didn't know that. Cool. All right. Oh, thank you. Nito says they vote for more content in this channel from any form. I really appreciate it. More. Yo-Ya has another hot take. Everything is a Lot by Will Wood is his best album. I've seen a lot of people say it's their least favorite, and you don't understand why. I don't really know Will Wood's work. I'm going to get some music on playing in the background here so we can let's just do our jokes. All right. I got some more here. Yo-Ya 420. I tried to tie two ropes together. That's when I learned I could not. That's what I learned I could not. And I got a laugh from you. I'm laughing.
Yeah, you got me on that one. That was good.
We got a laugh from Corey Simons. We got a laugh from Paper Bag Man, who always gives us 5 when they give us a laugh. Maybe it's Nito gave me a laugh. Corey Simons gave us a laugh. Here's a question for the ballers. Give me your pronoun in the chat. Like, I really don't even know who's what. Corey Simons gave us a laugh. Yo-Ya. Paper Bag Man gave us a laugh. Paper Bag Man gave us a laugh. SOH Man gave us a laugh.
I have no idea who Will Wood and the Tapeworms is. I will say that. Not a clue.
I don't, but it's a curious... Captain Love Handles has a hot take. Flipper is both great and not very good at the same time. The TV show?
No, I think he means the band.
Okay.
The TV show.
All right, hold on a second. Might fall into the same thing. Yesterday, Captain Love Handles, I changed a light bulb. Then I crossed the street and walked into a bar. Captain Love Handles, my whole life has a joke. I changed the light bulb, crossed the street, and walked into a bar, Jeremy. My life is a joke. Those are the starts of jokes. Classic jokes. Okay. No laugh from Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's still trying to figure it out. That's not a good sign. I love how the chat...
I'm confused.
I love how the chat, like, explodes. Like, it doesn't read forever. And then it's like, oh, here, read 45 messages at once. And they, like, blaze by. Like, luckily I can actually see them. Not laughing. Good one, Georgia Constitution Media. I got a laugh from Corey Simons. Good, thank you. Georgia Constitution gave me a 4 laughs. I got Paper Bag Man laughs. All right, this one goes out to Georgia Constitution Media, who gave me a super chat. Thank you, Georgia Constitution Media. It's extremely kind of you. You know, Georgia Constitution Media, Baby Ball asked me, Dad, every time I talk to girls, I get butterflies in my stomach. What should I do? I gently put my arm around him. And I replied, that's easy, Baby Ball. Stop eating caterpillars.
I like that.
That's how
great
you get
moments in parenting from Dennis Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Stop eating caterpillars, Georgia Constitution Media. Then you won't get butterflies in your stomach. All right, here's a good one. Corey Simons, are you okay, we got a she, her. Thank you. Here we go. The Mandalorian made a vehicle from the same metal his armor is made of, Corey Simons. Yeah, he made a vehicle from the same metal his armor's made of. It's the best car. It's the best car. It's the best car. It's the best car. It's Beskar Steel. It's called Beskar Steel. It's the best car. All right, I'll put that in the don't tell ever again pile.
Yeah.
I'll hide that row in the data jet.
I'm sorry, if I watched The Mandalorian, I might have gotten it, but I've never seen the show.
Oh my gosh. Captain Love Handles just gave me a $9.99 super chat. That's 666 upside down, Captain Love Handles. Well done. Thank you very much. So this one goes out to Captain Love Handles. The final joke of the episode. Captain Love Handles, I asked an electrician to fix an electrical issue at my house. He refused. He refused. Get it? He refused. Okay. All right.
And he charged you $75 an hour to refuse.
Yeah, exactly. To put a new fuse in, ballers. Thank you so much. We're going to go to the meme reactions. Oh, hold on. Okay, SOH will take any pronoun. I got a she from Corey Simons. Yo-Ya's giving me 2 laughs. Mando was a laugher, said Captain Love Handle. Yo-Ya, I liked that one. Boo from SOH, thank you. A laugh from Paper Bag Man. Maybe it's Nito as a casual Star Wars fan. Yeah, very casual. Best car. Right? That's right, Georgia Constitution. Star Wars. Oh my gosh. Refused. Yes. Okay, the refused one got a lot of laughs. Paper Bag Man, SOH, Nito, Georgia Constitution Media. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. And now a message from our sponsor.
When you run around like a maniac doing exercise, you need a water that's a maniac too. That's why we invented Subscribe Pure Unfiltered Tap Athlete Water. Specially formulated by a team of buff international sports scientists, Subscribe Pure Unfiltered Tap Athlete Water has the particles, minerals, small fragments, and even water your body needs to kick athletic ass. It makes you run faster than new sneakers, makes you stronger than anyone who tries to punch you, and sexier than the guy currently dating the girl you love. Subscribe Pure Unfiltered Tap Athlete Water. Subscribe to refreshment.
It has all the fragments and particles you need, Jeremy.
I'm drinking it now.
Yeah, exactly. Subscribe Pure Unfiltered Tap Athlete Water. The full name of it. Pure Unfiltered Tap Athlete Water. Okay. You like that one, SOH? Thank you. I remember doing that one. It was pretty fun. The scene where where Dennis Ball flew into the goal in front of somebody's house. I didn't know those people. I just kind of went to their house. I was walking by. I did it on a morning walk. I kind of shot it while Dennis was going for a run. And so I just happened to walk by that house and I did it real quick and hoped that they wouldn't come out and say, Hey, you kids. Oh, what the heck? You're 40. All right, hold on a second. Hold on. SOH is, yes, Nicolas Cage is defusing our power supply. SOH has a running gag, which is that Nicolas Cage is trying to steal Dennis's joke database. Ever since SOH found out I had a joke database with 800 jokes in it. Yeah. All right, hold on a second. Let's go to our Cooler Drool memes. I got a lot of them, so we might as well jump right in.
Bring on.
Name one thing in this photo. I don't know if you can see it. Name one thing in this photo. You can't, because there isn't. It's just a generated weirdness. This was actually probably an old, pre-AI even. I mean, it wasn't pre-AI.
Yeah,
but,
that is weird.
But it was, yeah, it's weird because it looks like a parrot. It reminds me of a bunch of animals and a gift bags or something.
Yeah, and then on the back left, it looks a little like maybe something you'd use to travel with your earrings or something,
yeah,
a plastic. I have no idea. That is.
It is weird. I actually
thought
that's
a
cool,
mind bender, all right.
Because it blew my mind. So I'll put that as a cool. Yeah, a chimp. Yeah, exactly. All right, hold on a second here. Here's a good one. Here's some mind bleach for you. imagine, imagine having that fridge. It says at the bottom, shardsofart.com. So I wonder if it's like a generated image and not a real fridge. I hope it's a real fridge.
It reminds me a little of those old clocks with the tail that would go back and forth and the eyes would move.
Like but when I look at it, I'm like, would that even work? Would the doors open? I don't know, but it's great looking. I love it. I'm giving it a cool. What's your vote on that, Jeremy? Cool or drool?
I'll give it a cool.
Okay, if it's drool, you can say, All right, let's cruise along here. Robots. I don't know who the artist of this is. It was on the Beatles subreddit, but it's very Lieutenant Colonel Data's Metal Hearts Club Band.
Well, that's pretty great.
Yeah,
I recognize some of these robots.
Yeah, most of them. I mean,
Blade Runner over there, and
Bender.
The cab driver from Total Recall on the bottom next to R2D2.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And Bender.
Oh, you got Yul Brynner in the back there from the original Westworld.
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Basically, the original Westworld. Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of
Terminator 2.
Name the ones that we're not naming in the chat, ballers. R2, because there's a lot of them here. But anyway, I thought this was cool. I thought
very well done.
I'd buy that as a print even or something,
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah, so
it was actually cool. We just had the anniversary of the day they shot that photo, the Beatles.
Yeah, the robots. Yeah, they're cool. Everybody's giving the robots a cool thing. Corey, Captain, SOH, Paper Bag Man, Yo-Ya. Yeah, they are cool. All right, let's move on. I mean, this brought me to a sort of place where I started to contemplate, Jeremy, the Pope's wardrobe and the Pope's handlers, and the fact that there must be at least one or two people whose main job is just having a pristine white outfit to throw on the Pope at any given moment.
I saw this as part of a collage that had 3 pictures of the Pope in various situations, and it said something like, name the Pope's lifestyle brand. And then I was looking at it and I thought, are these real photos or are they generated?
Right. Possibly generated, right?
I mean, I'm looking at his hand, the one on the right-hand side of it, and I'm wondering if that's real.
Let's see.
Yeah. Is that, does that make sense? What is he holding there?
Yeah, and what the hell's he holding there? That's true.
I don't know. And that, I mean, but that
pepper
coat,
shaker?
That coat is magnificent. I'll say that much.
It is. And it actually, and the cross is weird looking, right? Look at the cross.
Yeah, I don't know if it's real, but it's.
And the buttons, it must be AI. However, I mean, I thought it was cool because I was like,
yeah,
they probably would put him in a winter coat like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have him perfectly, just for the one time he went to Vail, Colorado to speak. Okay, all right. Let's get rid of the Pope and move on to the next one. We got a drool from Paper Bag Man, a cool from Paper Bag Man, a cool Pope is dope from Love Handles, cool Drew. SOH didn't know what to do with that. Staying papal and doing cool. I'm sorry. Here's what Nito says. You can be papal and stay warm. That's cool. All right. Sorry. It took me a minute to wrap my ball around that. This is an old one. I brought it back because I stumbled on it and I thought it was so funny. If you EQ like that, you'll never get a job at a studio after college. Just kidding. Jobs at studios don't exist anymore, and you're wasting your money. Anyway, let's be honest. If there was real money in this business, I wouldn't be teaching. I'd be just doing it. Probably not cool, but it made me laugh. So
yeah, I think it's cool. There's a dose of reality there, but
yeah,
there are plenty of places to be employed as as an engineer
or
producer, or just make it yourself.
Okay, all right, let's move on here. I could go into the chat, you guys, because there's some good chats going on, but we're almost at time, and I have 1,000 more memes to get through. All right, no need to brag. I own a lake. Can you imagine this young runner owns a lake? I thought that was cool. I like that one. SOH gave us a cool. Nito thought it was cool. Paper Bag Man gave us a cool.
Her parents are either very snarky or have no imagination.
Exactly. Do you give that a cool or a drool?
I give it a cool. It's funny.
Okay, cool. Good. Ooh, Metallica. I found myself in a place, Jeremy, where I saw this and I was hoping it was real. And then I was like, why am I hoping this is real? That's not very nice. You know?
But the question is, did he want it to say Metallica, or did the tattoo artist misspell it?
That is possible. It could be an intentional thing on the
because it's on his meat, you know.
Exactly, but you wonder. I'm gonna drool that one.
Yeah, I'll drool that one too. Sure.
All right, this is a good one. We'll keep moving along. Have you heard about Biquette the goat? Sold to an abattoir after she stopped producing milk, but was rescued by punks and then spent 10 years watching grindcore bands. She could come and go as she pleased, and in the words of her rescuers, escaped death and lived punk. Absolute legend. Here she is in a couple of hardcore shows. Hold on. It's gotta be a Photoshop, because my favorite part about it, Jeremy, is that she's at the front of the crowd like, yeah. You know?
I want to see her moshing.
Yeah, I'm giving that a total.
Yeah, I mean, cool. I've taken an elbow to the face at a hardcore show, but I would not want to take a hoof to the face. That would be even more painful, I think.
Yeah, people with the metallic or rapping, trying nothing else mattresses, says SOH. Yeah, we got a couple of drools on that and a couple of cools. But yeah, Ron Swanson's back, says Captain Thumbnails. I don't know if it's a mistake or an inside joke, Nito. I hope it's an inside joke for their sake. All right, this one's kind of funny. I remember running into Morrissey at a Halloween party or something. I went to punch him on the arm, and he just closed his eyes and started crying. Like he was trying to give him a friendly punch on the arm. Like, hey, buddy. And it's such a funny little clip. I love the sort of phony narrative of Robert Smith and Morrissey having this relationship where Robert Smith's always like threatening to beat up Morrissey and stuff. Oh, man. I give that one a cool. I just thought it was funny.
Cool.
What do you think? You're giving it a cool? All right, good. Okay, we got a bunch of cools on the last ones with the goat. Everyone liked the goat one. I agree. I like the goat one, too. I'm not reading everybody's name again, but you guys know. Corey says, I once had a young coworker look at my CDs and ask me what was a metal licka. It was cute. That is cute. All right, hold on. We just got a couple left. Beastie Boys, my friends, me. Funny. I thought I gave that a cool, and I kudos to whoever made that image originally.
Yeah,
it's too good almost to not be a professional photographer who did it.
Got to show that one to Jim Shearer sometime.
Yeah, totally. All right. Here's I should reach out to Jim. Hold on a second. Skin milk.
One letter can make such a big difference.
I'm giving that a drool just because it's so gross, but I think it's freaking hilarious.
Speaking of Morrissey, such a little thing can make such a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It does really. It matters dietarily. And the ska one. I mean the horn.
Well, if you're lactose intolerant, the skin milk might be okay.
All right, they might be giants. We're cruising through these. Yeah, cool because Beastie Boys. I agree. Cool. Milk for my skin. They might be giants. A great band. I like that because I thought it was very cunningly done, just like a Zelda old school
Yeah,
logo.
8-bit or 16-bit or something.
Here's another second They Might Be Giants meme. I can't believe they aren't giants. With melody, fidelity, and quantity, Natural John flavor may or may not contain giants. I thought that was good. Clever, funny. I give it a cool. What do you think? Yo-Ya gives it a cool. I love They Might Be Giants too, Yo-Ya. In fact, Yo-Ya, here's a quick tip. I'm working on the CBGB2 video, and one of the bands is They Might Be Giants. And I reached out to the band because I was trying to find information about their first appearance at CBGB. There's almost nothing out there. And John Flans responded to my Tumblr inquiry. And
cool.
He didn't say a heck of a lot, but he did respond. But yeah, watch that video to find out what I found out, if anything. All right, hold on a second here. Just a few more here, guys. Tommy Lee, hee hee. All right, I think that was a cool from you. I laughed. Jack Sampson. What's up, Jack? I know, we'll never know if they're actual giants. Yes, Yo-Ya gave a gross to... Okay, here's our final one for the... I think you'll like this, guys. Almost 50% of America's children don't get enough hardcore hip-hop. That's why I'm glad my family loves the taste of Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang is for the children. We've been saying it for years.
It is true. Wu-Tang is for the children. All right, I'm giving that one a cool. Everybody, Jeremy, thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks for coming up with the idea for our conversation. It was a good one, I thought.
You bet. It was fun. I've been wanting to talk about this stuff.
If you have other ideas, please let me know, because I have weeks of content.
Well, I'll be back. I'll be back in May, right? So
yes, you'll be back in May. We have a lot to talk about, and ballers, go to AnEarful.blogspot.com to check out AnEarful Blog. Ballers, have a great weekend. Florence is so correct. That was good. We're getting lots of pluses. Ballers, have a great weekend.
Thanks everyone for coming
everyone.
out.
Have a great weekend, and I'll try and talk to you guys from Nashville. All right, that's the plan. Yeah, let me get to the thing here. And a 1, and a 2.
1, 2, 3. Tennis ball, tennis ball. The world outside is making me so sad. But when I watch your show, it seems the world is just a joke, and things don't seem so bad. Your multi-personality is worth more than your pedigree. You're rolling with the punches like a champ. With all your skill, your show, and you like the room when you walk in. That's just a lamp. Tennis ball, tennis ball. You just make me laugh. The world outside is making me so sad. But when I watch your show, it seems the world is just a joke, and things don't seem so bad. Pour some Kingdom Ramblers, Bambi, Ricky, Jazz.